What if Luffy were reborn with all his current powers and memories? How would that impact the entire storyline? There are ultimate possibilities with this, but you don't have to worry about it. In this video, we've gathered 3 alternate timelines in which Luffy gets reborn with all his powers and memories. Without further ado, let's dive right into it. In the first timeline, Luffy gets reborn with all his memories and powers. Luffy's born in the Fuchsia village just like the original timeline, but in this timeline, he remembers everything. He knows what'll happen in the future, his crew members, all the enemies he's fought, and the heartbreaking loss of Ace. Besides this, he keeps all of his powers, Gear 5, all 3 types of haki, and years of battle experience. Even in a child's body, he's a seasoned warrior with the heart of a hero. When Shanks visits Fuchsia village, Luffy's bond with him becomes deeper. He doesn't just admire him, he warns him about dangers like Blackbeard and the future war at Marineford, but who would trust a little kid about all this? Shanks still realizes there's something different about this kid. In the original timeline, Luffy accidentally consumes the Gomu Gomu no Mi. However, in this alternate universe, he consumes it knowing that it's his devil fruit that possesses the power to change the entire world. When Luffy sets out on his journey, the difference is clear. He beats Alvida with a flick, saves Zoro instantly, and gathers his crew much faster. He helps Nami defeat Arlong before the village can suffer too much. He teaches Usopp courage early, and inspires Sanji to chase his dreams beyond just protecting the Baratie. He even introduces the idea of haki to them way earlier than in the original story. By the time they enter the Grand Line, the Straw Hats are already monsters. None of his enemies stand a chance against him. He still fights with passion, but now he thinks ahead and avoids unnecessary risks. And most importantly, he never leaves anyone behind. The biggest change comes at Marineford. Luffy plans everything. He brings allies like Hancock and Ivankov, and even tries to work with Whitebeard more strategically. When the battle begins, Luffy doesn't just charge blindly. Instead, he uses Future Sight to dodge Akainu, Advanced Conqueror's Haki to clash with the Admirals, and saves Ace before he's ever hit. Ace and Luffy escape together, the world is shocked, the Marines lose a huge opportunity, and Luffy's name spreads like wildfire. He becomes a symbol of hope, not just for the pirates, but for the people suffering under the world government. From there, Luffy continues his journey toward Laugh Tale, but now he's more than just a pirate chasing a dream. He wants to change the world for the better. He helps Fishman Island avoid destruction by bringing peace between the humans and fishmen. He helps Wano much earlier and stands beside the samurai in their fight against Kaido. Wherever he goes, he brings people together. He saves those in need and gives them hope to stand on their own. Slowly, the world begins to change, not through power or fear, but through the strength of his heart. He has become someone who knows how the story ends and is writing a new one. Now, this is the ideal timeline in which Luffy's good and doesn't get corrupted by his own powers, but what if he actually gets corrupted? Now, in this second timeline, we'll discuss what'll happen if Luffy gets corrupted by his own powers. Luffy is reborn in Fuchsia village with all the memories from his past life, but instead of feeling happy about getting a second chance, he feels angry. He remembers the pain of losing Ace, being too weak to save people, the lies of the world government, and how unfair the world really was. Now that he's back with all his powers, he decides things are going to be different. This time, he's going to take control no matter what it takes. He still has Gear 5, all 3 types of haki, and the battle experience of someone who's fought through the entire Grand Line, but instead of using that strength to help others, he uses it to crush anyone in his way. When he sets off on his journey, he doesn't care about making friends. He builds a crew, but only picks the ones he knows are strong or useful. He treats them more like tools than family. Zoro and the others still join him, but not in the same way as before. This time, Luffy doesn't ask for friendship. He demands loyalty. He uses his knowledge of the future to blackmail them into joining his crew. He tells Zoro about the life he'll lose if he refuses. He warns Nami about what Arlong will do to her village. Sometimes, he shows them glimpses of the future, showing how they can reach their dreams if they follow him. But behind every promise, this is a hidden threat. Zoro and the others follow, but the warmth they had is once gone. Luffy's not the same man anymore. The smile's still there, but it no longer feels real. He beats enemies like Arlong, Crocodile, and Enel easily. He's not doing this to protect the people, but to prove a point. If someone gets in his way, they're gone. His dream isn't just to become the Pirate King, but to rule the seas and make sure no one can ever hurt him or his loved ones again. He starts making moves early, he hunts down Blackbeard before Marineford ever happens and wipes him out. He kills off threats before they grow. The world government has no idea what's coming. When the Marineford War does happen, Luffy doesn't rush in recklessly like before. This time he comes with a full plan, stronger allies, and no mercy. He saves Ace, but he doesn't stop there as he goes after Akainu, the admirals, and destroys the Marineford base itself. From that day on, the world's changed. Luffy's become a terrifying name. Pirates fear him, Marines avoid him, and even the Yonko know he's dangerous. He takes down Kaido and Big Mom not to free Wano or protect anyone, but to expand his own power. He starts taking territories and becomes a ruler, not a freedom-loving pirate. He becomes Pirate King, but not the kind people sing about. He's feared across the world, and while the seas are more peaceful, it's only because everyone's too afraid to stand up to him. The real reason Luffy does all this is to protect his loved ones, his entire crew, and the people who are dear to him. He knows that he gets too attached to people and will get hurt eventually, and to avoid that, he keeps a distance from them and protects them from afar. In the previous two scenarios, we witnessed Luffy's good and evil versions. However, there's a huge possibility that Luffy becomes neither of those and becomes someone unrecognizable. We know what happens to people who have power. They get betrayed. Something similar happens to Luffy. This third scenario begins as Luffy's reborn with all his memories and powers. At first, he's the same old Luffy who's fun-loving, goofy, always chasing meat and freedom, but now he's smarter. He knows how dangerous the world is and uses that knowledge to prepare better. He trains his crew early, helps them awaken Haki sooner, and quickly wipes out enemies like Crocodile and Enel. He still wants to be Pirate King, but there's something deeper this time. He wants to protect Ace, no matter what. He believes that with his memories and strength, he can change the future. Watching everything unfold from afar is Shanks, the man who inspired Luffy, the symbol of freedom and peace, but this time, Shanks is different too. Shanks also knows the truth. Maybe he was told by the Gorosei, maybe he saw the future through mysterious means tied to the One Piece, but in his heart, Shanks believes Luffy is the key to saving the world. But Shanks sees something else too. Luffy's love for Ace is weakening him. He's fighting too emotionally. He's not thinking like someone who's destined to change the world. He's thinking like a boy who just wants to protect his brother. So Shanks makes a decision, and it's a terrible one. He steps into Marineford, pretending to help. Luffy's relieved to see him. He trusts him more than anyone, but when the moment comes and Luffy's about to free Ace, Shanks appears out of nowhere and kills him. Shanks tells Luffy a painful truth because he strangely cares about him. He says the world needs a hero, not a brother. Your purpose was never to save your brother, but to save the world. Then Shanks leaves. He's not running away, but trying to make Luffy stronger. Luffy's heartbroken. Everything he believed is a lie. His brother's gone because someone he loved allowed it to happen. This changes Luffy forever. He loses his innocence and stops wanting to be Pirate King. His new goal is bigger, and that's to break the world's corrupt systems. He becomes a force of destruction. He stops laughing and trusting. His new crew is made up of people who've lost everything just like him. He still fights for what's right, but he no longer is merciful. He attacks the world's rulers and eventually goes after Shanks himself. Their final battle is a tragedy. Shanks wanted to make Luffy great, but Luffy believes no one should control his destiny. In the end, Luffy wins. He doesn't become king or take the treasure. His only goal was to get revenge for his brother by destroying the world that took him. And he succeeded. Now he has nothing left to want. Luffy's sole purpose of existence is basically gone. From this point onward, Luffy can go in multiple directions. However, in my opinion, Luffy will just end up on a random island where he can live the rest of his life alone. If we think realistically, Scenario 1 seems the most feasible, but we cannot ignore the fact that the One Piece world is a cruel place, and something like Scenarios 2 and 3 can still happen. Let me know which scenario's your favorite. Till next time.